close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left.
Hello guys, today in this video, we are going to help you to find out the best motherboards 2023 in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion, and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review, and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below. OG Crosshair VIII Hero Wi-Fi. The board itself gives off a premium vibe with a jet black PCIe and heatsinks. Accenting the black is a silver swath going through the chipset heatsink and up through the VRM heatsink. Emblazoned on the rear I/O heatsink is the Crosshair VIII name, while just below it in the sliver area is the word Hero, with RGBs illuminating the word with a faint frosty glow. The ROG symbol on the chipset heatsink also incorporates RGB lighting and shares the same frosted look. RGB control is handled by ASUS Aorus software. Other than that, it's black on black for the VRM heatsinks, audio shroud, and DIMM slots. Two of the three full-length PCI-e slots include reinforcement for heavy GPUs and EMI slot protection. The Crosshair VIII Hero Wi-Fi really presents itself as a premium motherboard. Without polarizing styling cues, it will fit in with most build themes too. Starting at the top, on the far left, is the rear I/O cover, which reaches out over the heatsink. The cover is made out of mostly brushed finished aluminum, with some plastic. We see the Crosshair VIII naming on top and Hero on the bottom, the latter lit up with RGBs. Feeding the VRMs are a required 8-pin and optional 4-pin EPS connector, sandwiched between the shroud and VRM heatsinks. This board uses a ASP1405/Infineon IR35201 8-phase controller running in 7+1 mode. The heatsinks aren't the biggest we've seen, but they are connected to each other via a heat pipe, sharing the thermal load between them. The power bits stayed well within spec during our stock and overclock testing. Number 7. MSI MAG B660M Mortar Wi-Fi DDR4. So long as you don't plan on overclocking your CPU or want to use PCI 5.0 devices before your next upgrade, the MSI MAG B660M Mortar Wi-Fi DDR4 and its B660 chipset makes for a great option for those looking to get into Alder Lake without putting a heavy burden on your build budget. It lacks the fancy looks or RGB lighting of pricier boards, but does come with everything you need to get the most out of a stock clock Alder Lake CPU. The mortar includes two PCI 4.0x4 and 2 sockets, 6 SATA ports, a premium last-generation audio solution, and VRMs that easily manage the flagship Core i9 CPU in our testing. Performance on our B660M mortar was similar to those of the Z600 and 90-based DDR4 boards we tested previously. In other words, this sub-$200 motherboard was able to utilize our i9 12900K processor to its fullest while costing a third less than most Z600 and 90 offerings. The MAG series was born through rigorous quality testing and designed to be a symbol of sturdiness and durability. Focused on providing the best user experience, the MAG series has a simple installation process coupled with a friendly user interface, making it the best choice for entry-level gamers. Number 6. MSI MAG B760M Mortar Wi-Fi. MSI's MAG B760M Mortar Wi-Fi is an inexpensive option that supports even the flagship class 12th and 13th generation Intel processors. For under $190, you get a PCI 5.0 slot for graphics, 2 M2 sockets, both PCI 4.0, one of which supports SATA-based models, a budget audio solution, and even a fast USB 3.2 Gen 2 X2, 20 GB. Type-C port on the rear I/O. For a budget option, it looks good and has most of what users want in the budget space. Performance was fine in gaming and lightly threaded work. Just note that out of the box with a high-end CPU like the Core i9 13900K we used for testing, it will thermally throttle under heavy workloads at default settings. Ultimately, the MSI MAG B760M Mortar Wi-Fi is the best option among its similarly priced competition. It's the only board in this range with a PCI 5.0 slot and a 20 GePs USB Type-C port on the rear I/O. Power delivery can handle our flagship processor. However, if you plan a high-power processor and push all cores and threads for general use, You'll want to lower the voltage and slash or use top-notch cooling to get the most out of the board. Less expensive options are available, but you'd also lose some features making them move down. If you're in the market for an inexpensive motherboard that the latest and greatest Intel has to offer and want 20 GIPS ports and a PCI 5.0 slot, the B650M Mortar is the option in the sub-$200 market. The fact that it often sells for $180 makes it easy to recommend. Number 5. Gigabyte Aorus Z690 Tachyon. The Z690 Aorus Tachyon comes with robust power delivery that supports sub-ambient overclocking of any compatible Alder Lake CPU. The 105 ASPS MOSFETs, large heatsink, and overclocking tools ensure the board doesn't get in the way of top achievable clock speeds. And in our testing, it performed above average overall, with some of the fastest results in our new Blender benchmark, Cinebench R23 and Procyon Office, with our game tests also showing results slightly higher than average for the Z690 boards we tested. The EATX Aorus Tachyon has several features that make overclocking easier too, including buttons to raise/lower the CPU ratio, cool-down functionality, limp modes, multiple BIOS capability, tantalum capacitors around the socket area, better and easier for insulating for sub-zero runs, and more. Although this board is made for overclocking, it still does most everything else well too. From the 4 M2 sockets and 6 SATA ports to the last-gen flagship Realtek audio solution, it comes packed with features that are useful for most any type of user. Number 4. Gigabyte Z690i Aorus Ultra Plus. The Gigabyte Z690i Aorus Ultra Plus has proved itself in our testing to be a well-performing, good-looking, and a cost-effective option in the Z690 ITX space. Priced well at $329.99, it's cheaper than most of the competition, and it includes 2 M2 sockets, a modern premium audio codec, and high-quality 105.8 MOSFETs to feed any CPU. Plus, it's an RGB-inclusive design. If we look at the competition, we have ASRock's Z690 Phantom Gaming ITX/TB4, $299.99, the MSI MAG Z690i Unify, $399.99, and Asus ROG Strix Z690i Gaming Wi-Fi 6E, $409.99. These are more than capable ITX boards, with the difference coming down to price and your needs. All of these boards include Wi-Fi 6E and 2.5 GBE, at least 2 SATA ports and 2 M2 sockets. The other boards have additional SATA ports, while the MSI is the only one with 3 M2 sockets. The ASRock falls short if you compare audio codecs, but few users would notice a difference. We like what the Gigabyte Z690i Aorus Ultra Plus has to offer. Number 3. ASRock Z690 Extreme Wi-Fi 6E. ASRock's Z690 Extreme Wi-Fi is a great motherboard to build your Alder Lake-based system around if you're looking to save money to spend on other components. Its out-of-the-box performance with some heavily multi-threaded applications was somewhat slower than average in some tests, but lightly threaded workloads in game testing saw this board shine. Hardware-wise, the board is well equipped for its price, including 3 M2 sockets, a whopping 8 SATA ports, dual Ethernet ports, 1 GBE/2.5 GBE, and integrated Wi-Fi 6E. The board looks good too, with its mostly black design, dark blue accents, bright RGB LEDs, and aesthetically pleasing notches in the PCB. There are many competing options in the $200 price range, but only the ASRock Extreme comes with integrated Wi-Fi 6E and 8 SATA ports. If you're into RGB lighting, which the Asus and MSI do not have at this price, the Extreme Wi-Fi 6E is the way to go. Unless you need more than 5 USB-A ports on the rear I/O, the Z690 Extreme is the best Z690 board we've tested around the $200 mark. Number 2. Gigabyte Z690 Aorus Pro. At around $330, the Gigabyte Z690 Aorus Pro is a mid-range Alder Lake motherboard that covers all the bases very well, with minimal sacrifices. There are ample storage options, including 4 M2 sockets, updated audio, and a new appearance. In our extensive testing, performance, thermals, and overclocking were also well within the range of other Z690 boards we tested. Between its 13 USB ports on the rear I/O, 4 M.2 sockets, and capable power delivery, all at a price that's well below flagship options, there's a lot to love about the Z690 Aorus Pro. So long as you don't require integrated RGB lighting or Wi-Fi 6E out of the box, you still get Wi-Fi 6. The Gigabyte Z690 Aorus Pro is an excellent Alder Lake motherboard to build your Z690 system around. Number 1. Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Extreme. All the flagship class Z790 motherboards offer the best of the best in terms of features and specifications, but the Gigabyte Z790 Aorus Extreme presents the best value among them. You'll lose a couple M.2 sockets over more expensive boards, but this bird otherwise has everything else you could ask for and more, while costing between $200 and $400 less than the competition. The Z790 Aorus Extreme delivers 10 GB Ethernet, 40 GIPS Thunderbolt 4 ports, flagship-class audio, PCI-e 5.0 GPU and M.2 support, overkill power delivery, and that high-end appearance you expect from a high-end board. MSI's Z790 Godlike offers up a few more features, like 7 M.2 sockets, but costs $400 more, and it's also physically bigger, making it hard to recommend to most people unless money is no object. The Z790 Aorus Extreme also performed well in our gaming, productivity, and overclocking tests, as you would expect from a flagship board. Just remember that this is an eATX model, so you'll need a case with a bit more room than standard ATX options. But you could certainly buy a bigger case with the money you'll save by opting for this board over other Z790 flagship options.